In this video, I'm going to go through the solutions to your diagnostic test. The first one is to expand 7 minus 2 times 4x plus 3 squared. 4x plus 3 squared is going to be multiplied twice, so I'm going to get 7 minus 2 times 4x plus 3 times 4x plus 3. Then expanding these two brackets, I get 7 minus 2. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times 3 is 12x. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times 3 is 9. Now this is 7 minus 2, 16x squared. 12x plus 12x is 24x plus 9. Now I distribute negative 2 inside the bracket. I get 7 minus 32x squared minus 48x minus 18. Now combining the like terms, I get negative 32x squared, negative 48x, negative 18 plus 7 is negative 11. The next question is x squared minus 3x times 2x plus 1 minus 3x squared. I'm going to expand the first two brackets. X squared times 2x is 2x cubed. X squared times 1 is x squared. Negative 3x times 2x is negative 6x squared. Negative 3x times 1 is negative 3x. Then 3x squared is negative 9x squared. Combining the like term, I get 2x cubed. Then x squared minus 6x squared is minus 5x squared. Minus 9x squared is minus 14x squared. And negative 3x. The next question is to factor each of the following. The first one is 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. Since there is no common factor here and the leading coefficient is not 1, I cannot use sum and product. So I'm going to try the decomposition method. A is 4, B is negative 20, and C is equal to 25. So AC is 4 times 25 is 100, and B again is negative 20. Find two numbers that the product is 100 and the sum is negative 20. Those two numbers are negative 10 and negative 10, because negative 10 times negative 10 is 100, and negative 10 plus negative 10 is negative 20. So I can decompose the original polynomial as 4x squared minus 10x, which gives us negative 20x, which is here, plus 25. Take the first two and the last two, and then factor them out. From 4x squared minus 10x squared, the common factor is 2x. So I get 2x minus 5. From negative 10x plus 25, I can factor out negative 5. So I get 2x minus 5. Now 2x minus 5 is common, so I take 2x minus 5 out. So I get 2x here and negative 5 here. And this one can easily be written as 2x minus 5 squared. The next one is 2x squared minus 13x plus 21. Again, there is nothing to factor here, so there is no common factor. So I cannot use sum and product. Again, A is 2, B is negative 13, C is 21. So AC is 2 times 21 is 42 and B is negative 13. Find two numbers that the product is negative 42 and the sum is negative 13. Those two numbers are negative 6 and negative 7. Negative 6 times negative 7 is 42. Negative 6 plus negative 7 is negative 13. So I can decompose the original one as 2x squared minus 6x minus 7x plus 21. Remember, I can also write it as 2x squared minus 7x minus 6x plus 21. The final answer is the same. So take the first two and the last two. The first two I can take 2x out. So I get x minus 3. And the last two I take negative 7 out. So I get x minus 3. X minus 3 is common, so I take x minus 3 out, and I get 2x minus 7. The last one says 3a squared plus 11a plus 6. Again, there is no common factor. Leading coefficient is another 1, so I have to use the decomposition method. Again, a is 3, b is 11, and c is 6. So a times c is 3 times 6 is 18. B is 11. Find two numbers that the product is 18 and the sum is 11. Those two numbers are 2 and 9. So I can decompose the middle term and I get 3a squared plus 2a plus 9a plus 6. 2a plus 9a is 11a. So take the first two terms, the last two terms. The first two terms, the common factor is a. So I get 3a plus 2. And the last two terms, the common factor is 3. So I get 3a plus 2. Now 3a plus 2 is common. So I take 3a plus 2 out. And I get a plus 3. The next example says solve by factoring. To solve this 6x squared is equal to 4x by factoring, I'm going to move 4x to the left. So I get 6x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. Since 2x is common between them, I can take 2x out. So I get 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. When the product of two numbers is 0, either one or both of them, they have to be 0. So this means 2x is equal to 0. So from here, I get x is equal to 0. This is one solution. The second solution is 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. So from here, I get x is 2 over 3. So these are the two solutions here. The next question says, solve 8 times x plus 1 squared minus 14 times x plus 1 plus 3 is equal to 0. There are two ways we can solve it. We can either expand it and then factor it, or we can use substitution. Since x plus 1 is common, I'm going to let y to be x plus 1. Then the above becomes 8y squared minus 14y plus 3 is equal to 0. Now looking at this equation, you can see that the leading coefficient is not 1 and there is no common factor here. So I have to use decomposition to factor this one. I'm going to say a is 8, b is negative 14, c is 3. So ac is 8 times 3, which is 24, and b negative 14. Find two numbers that the product is 24 and the sum is negative 14. Those two numbers are negative 12 and negative 2. Because negative 12 times negative 2 is 24, and negative 12 minus 2 is negative 14. So I can decompose the middle term. I get 8y squared minus 12y minus 2y plus 3 is equal to 0. Take the first two terms and the last two terms. The first two terms I can take 4y out, so I get 2y minus 3y, and the last two terms I take negative out, just negative. So I get 2y minus 3 is equal to 0. 2y minus 3 is common, so I take 2y minus 3 out, and I get 4y minus 1 is equal to 0. Again, the product is 0, so either or both, they have to be equal to 0. So from the first one, 2y minus 3 is equal to 0, so 2y is equal to 3. I move negative 3 to the right. From here I get y is 3 over 2. The next one, 4y minus 1 is equal to 0. I move negative 1 to the right. I get 4y is equal to 1. So y is 1 over 4. These are the solutions for y. But if you remember, y is x plus 1. So if y is 3 over 2, I can find x. So I'm going to say x plus 1 is 3 over 2. I move 1 to the right. I get x is 3 over 2 minus 1, which is going to become 3 over 2 minus 2 over 2, which is 1 over 2. And the second one, x plus 1 is equal to 1 over 4, because y is 1 over 4. Move this one to the right. I get x is 1 over 4 minus 1, which is 4 over 4. 1 over 4 minus 4 over 4 is negative 3 over 4. So the two answers are 1 over 2 and negative 3 over 4. The next equation that you have to solve by factoring is 75x squared minus 27. First of all, the common factor here is 3, so I take 3 out. This becomes 25x squared minus 9 is equal to 0. But remember the difference of square. 25x squared minus 9 are two squares which are subtracted from each other, so I can write this one as 3. 25x squared, if you take the square root, is 5x. 9, if you take the square root, is 3, so it's 5x minus 3 times 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. When the product is 0, then it means one or both of them, they have to be 0. So 5x minus 3 is 0. So 5x is equal to 3. If I move this one to the right, so from here, x is equal to 3 over 5. 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. I move 3 to the right, I get 5x is equal to negative 3. So x is negative 3 over 5. So these are the two solutions here. The next question is to solve the following with any method that we desire. I'm going to move 17x to the left, so this becomes 2x squared minus 17x minus 40 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to use quadratic formula to solve this equation, so I'm going to say the two roots are negative b plus or minus b squared, which is 17 squared, minus 4ac. So it's going to be minus 4 times 2 times negative 40, so it's going to be minus 4 times 2 times negative 40 divided by 2a, which is 2 times 2. If you simplify this one under the square root, we get 17 plus or minus 47 divided by 2a, 2 times 12. This was a mistake. So 2 times 12 is 24. Now there are two solutions here, plus or minus. If we go with 17 plus 47 divided by 24, I'm going to get 8 over 3. If I go 17 minus 47 divided by 24, I get negative 5 over 4. These are the two solutions. The next question is x times x plus 3 is equal to 5 minus x squared. I'm going to expand x times x plus 3 and then move these two to the left. So I get x times x is x squared plus 3x minus 5 plus x squared is equal to 0. X squared plus x squared is 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. Again, we can either use quadratic formula or we can use factoring. In this case, I can try to see if I can use the decomposition method. A is 2, B is 3, and C is negative 5. So AC is 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, and B is 3. Find two numbers, the product is negative 5 and the sum is 3. Those two numbers are going to be 5 and negative 2. Because 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, 5 plus negative 2 is 3. So I can decompose the middle term and I get 2x squared plus 5x minus 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. Take the first two terms and the last two terms, factor x out. I get 2 plus 2x plus 5 minus, from the last two terms, I get 2x plus 5. Then factor 2x plus 5 out. I get x minus 1 is equal to 0. When the product of two numbers is 0, either or both, they have to be 0. So 2x plus 5 is equal to 0, or 2x is equal to negative 5. So x is negative 5 over 2, or x minus 1 is equal to 0, so x is 1. So these are the two solutions. The next equation is to graph the following by finding 5 points which are vertex, x-intercepts, and y-intercept. So the first thing, to find the coordinate of the vertex, I'm going to use the shortcut. I'm going to say the x-coordinate of the vertex is minus b over 2a, minus b is minus 3, because b is 3, over 2a, which is negative 3 times 2. Negative 3 goes with negative 3, which is 1 over 2. Now to find the y-coordinate, I'm going to sub 1 over 2 back into equation, so I get negative 3 1 over 2 squared plus 3 times 1 over 2 plus 6. If we simplify this one, we get 6.75. So this means that the coordinate of the vertex is 1 over 2 is 0.5 and 6.75. Equation in the vertex form is y is equal to a is negative 3, so negative 3, x minus h, which is x minus 0.5 squared, plus b, which is 6.75. So that's the equation of the vertex form. Now we have to find the x-intercepts. To find the x-intercepts, I'm going to factor the main equation first. So I'm going to write y is equal to factor negative 3 out, so negative 3x squared minus x minus 2. Now the leading coefficient is 1, so I can use the sum and product. Find two numbers, the product is negative 2 and the sum is negative 1. Those two are negative 2 and 1. Because negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 and negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So this is the same as negative 3, x minus 2 and x plus 1. Now you can see that this is the factored form of the quadratic. So r is 1 and s is negative 2. So the x-intercepts are negative 1 and 2. Now the y-intercept, we go back to the standard form, and y-intercept is the constant, which is 6. So given these points, we can easily plot the parabola. First of all, the vertex is 0.5 and 6.75, so 0.5 and 6.75 is going to be somewhere around here. And then the x-intercepts are 2 and negative 1, so it's 2 here, and negative 1 is going to be here. And the y-intercept is 6, so the y-intercept is here. Now I'm going to go and just connect these points together, and I'm going to get a parabola which looks like the one which I just drew. The next question says, complete the square for each one of these polynomials and determine the vertex of the equation. So for the first one, since the rule says, first of all, the leading coefficient has to be 1, so I have to take negative 4 out, so I get negative 4, so it's x squared minus 3 and then minus 1. Now I'm going to divide negative 3x. Now I'm going to divide negative 3 by 2, which is negative 3 over 2, and then square it. Negative 3 over 2 squared is 9 over 4. So add and subtract 9 over 4. So I get negative 4 x squared minus 3x plus 9 over 4 minus 9 over 4 minus 1. These three, they form a complete square, and I can write it as negative 4 x minus 3 over 2 squared minus 9 over 4 minus 1. Okay, x minus 3 over 2 squared is x squared. Then square of the second term, negative 3 over 2 squared is 9 over 4, which is here. And then twice the first and second term. So 2 times x is 2x times negative 3 over 2 is going to give me negative 3x. So this is the same as this one. Now I'm going to distribute negative 4 inside, so I get negative 4 x minus 3 over 2 squared. Negative 4 times negative 9 over 4. 4 crosses with 4. Negative times negative is positive, so I get plus 9 minus 1, which is negative 4 x minus 3 over 2 squared plus 8. So the vertex is going to be 3 over 2 and 8. Remember, you take the sign and you opposite, which is going to be positive now. The next one is 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. Again, I do the same thing. I'm going to say y is equal to 3 times x squared minus 2 over 3x plus 5. Now this one I can write as 3x squared minus 2 over 3x. 2 over 3 divided by 2 is 1 over 3. Square is 1 over 9. Add and subtract. So I'm going to add 1 over 9 and subtract 1 over 9. Now take the first three terms. X squared minus 2 over 3x plus 9 can be written as a complete square as x minus 1 over 3 squared, and then the negative 1 over 9 here, plus 5. If I expand this one, I get 3 times x minus 1 over 3 squared. 3 times negative 1 over 3 is negative 1 over 9 is negative 1 over 3 plus 5. 5 is the same as 15 over 3. So negative 1 over 3 plus 15 over 3 is 14 over 3. So this is 3x minus 1 over 3 squared plus 14 over 3. So again, the vertex becomes 1 over 3 and 14 over 3.